Hello, everybody. Average actually back for my official thoughts on Supervive's release. I know that I gave the rundown of the open beta and my thoughts, so I figured after about a week and a half of gameplay, I will be back to let you know what I think of the official release and see what you guys are thinking, see how you're feeling after trying it out for a little bit. I'm kind of mixed on the whole thing, just to kind of preface all of this. I have some positives and some negatives, but overall I'm not going to be too doomer about this whole thing because I think that's really popular in the internet world, so I'm going to try to keep things on the lighter end, but I don't want to sugarcoat stuff because there are some things that need fixed, but overall the game is fantastic. It's great, and I think that the changes that they bring are going to provide a more stable base for people to play this on a longer term, and overall it's still a super fun game to dive into. So my thoughts after playing for about a week is this game's going to be best when you have a team to do it with you. It's pretty tough when you're solo queuing because you're not able to communicate as well or have that cohesion that you might with some of your friends. And I personally like to play solo queue with my mic turned off and not on the comms, just because it helps me stay in just my rhythm. But I'm gonna need to be opening it up to comms a little bit more to get that cohesion, because it's been really difficult to climb when I don't have my trio with me. But the times I do have my trio or even just a duo, it's fantastic, and you're really gonna want to have those comms open so that you can coordinate with your team, because some of the changes they've made have made your solo play a little bit more difficult, and I'll kind of get into some of that. So one of the bad things that I've found for me personally is the expanded map. I think that it's kind of one too many changes, and the overall gameplay for most of the hunters that are easily accessible for your initial players, and unfortunately my main Kingpin, it's not as good. I've got 2 dashes and then 1 ability that can be used over the abyss to actually spike people down into it and get a quick kill, but I don't have any resets, so fighting extended periods of time over that wide of a map is kind of difficult. And there's some characters like Brawl and Jin who are just way more mobile and get resets. They kind of thrive in this environment, and some of your other hunters, some of the older ones like Shrike and Ghost, who I talked about in a previous video, they are just not able to keep up, and the distance between your ledges is a lot wider, so it's difficult for them to even free fire over that ledge like they used to be able to get that physical distance from the characters who want to just get up on your face and blow you up. So I think that has made it a little more difficult. It has extended fights and made fighting a lot longer somewhat. You don't have as many occasions where you're going to get blown up right away, but I personally don't like this change. Also, with the expanded map, there needs to be more relic shops, especially when they open this map up. So they changed your shops to, one of them you get your kicks and your grips, and one of them you get your relics. Your kicks and your grips are really helpful for your move speed and your dash haste, as well as primary attack or ability cooldown and damage, but your relics are where some of those powers have been put into, and those really open up your build for your heroes. So it's difficult when there's not that many to access, and good players are going to be focusing around those areas and not allowing you to get that as easily. Also, by the time you hit like second circle or so, there's 1, maybe 2 relic shops, and it gets pretty difficult if you haven't got the time to build up to the point where you're able to afford those gear pieces. They're usually on the more expensive end. The next 2 things that I'm going to talk about are why I re-recorded this video and why I didn't have a video go out this last week. The changes came through on Thursday, and when my video was going to go out, some of the changes that they've made really address some of these negative things and flip them on their head. So I didn't want to put that out there because it didn't feel like it was um, proper without also talking about the patch. So, two things that I didn't like is the armory system and the Prisma system. So, positive for me is the new gameplay loop for people to come in, you fight, play games to get Prisma, to then take that Prisma and buy your new items with it, and then use those items and unlock them in the game to have access to a more consistent, fun way to play your hunter, rather than having to find the pieces randomly around the map. Before, that was kind of difficult. You didn't get very much Prisma if you were dying, so you had to have a win, and then some of the items in the shop were 8,000 or 4,000 Prisma, and at a really, really good game, I was getting like 1,000. So I was having to play multiple games just to be able to afford enough to buy one item that was one of the key pieces I wanted for my hunter, and that's only one hunter. If I wanted more pieces, that was going to be even more gameplay, and people just don't have the time for that unless they're hardcore grinders of this. So I think the armory itself benefits either people who don't care too much about the game and are only going to be casual and are just coming in here just to play a battle royale, and the grinders who have the time to dump everything into this and probably already have everything unlocked and upgraded. But the vast majority of people in between that are gonna feel like this is kind of detracting from their experience. That's kind of why I felt negative about the whole thing. However, the patch itself made everything cost 1,000 Prisma, and also made Prisma gains a little bit better for new players. And it's overall a fantastic change for people to get access to this new system and be able to play with it a lot faster, to hopefully bring people into the game more consistently and for a longer time. And the fact that they did this 1 week after official launch is great. People are still kind of complaining about the lack of transparency that we've been seeing since the official roadmap came out back when this thing launched into open beta. There was so much news and so much insight into their world at that point that now it feels like a complete 180, but it sounds like they're trying to keep things more under wraps to help expectations be managed a little bit better. And they did release a nice set of information, and they said they're going to try to communicate, since there's going to be possibly more people, they're going to try to communicate through the Steam patch notes where most people are going to be looking. That way it's just a little bit easier to get the news where they need it to go, and I don't have a problem with that. So they're already addressing these issues 1 week after launch. Give them some time. They're a small indie studio who is just trying to figure this thing out, and made so much change and put in so much work to get this to the point where it is now, where it's in a much healthier state, I think. So I want to get to the good things about the gameplay. Like I said previously, that defined gameplay loop where you have the Prisma into gear, into buy that in-game, into being able to fight with that gear and learn the ins and outs of your new build. That's a great way for players to learn how this thing works, and they've condensed the experience a little bit more digestible for those beginning players. The open map, well, they said it was a negative. They added the Sky Shark airborne vehicle. That is a super positive thing. Those are so fun to drive around on, and you can have a buddy hop on the back, and you can shoot and fight each other in the air if you want, or it's kind of fun to try to drive it into a fight and decide whether you want to blow it up or just try to ram into people. It just gives a little bit more creativity and chaos to the open abyss, and I think that's a fantastic change. I hope that they add more vehicles like that, maybe a land vehicle, or just different variations that you could change the skin of your vehicles when you drive it. I think that'd be really fun, but I like that they added this. New heroes are back as well. So after the long content drought that we had, we are getting not only a new hero Wukong on release that we have, but coming, I think it is a week from this last patch, another new hero. And hopefully it's looking like another controller or initiator. We only have 2 of each, so please, please, please let it be a new tank. But there's also a magic user mage type character on the way afterwards that's going to come in August, and they're making up for the couple months that they didn't have any of this released, since they were grinding the new armory and reworking the map and everything. I think it's fun. It's going to open up new compositions, and with the new items, there might be some fun little tricks that people figure out, and it just brings that spice back into the game that people are looking for, and hopefully it keeps that player base moving along consistently like it has been. And finally, I mean, this could be elevated to fantastic. The UI and the client look and sound amazing. Every little detail they put into the glowing little goopy looking play button that's activated when you hover over it, to the noises, it sounds like they just made everything crisper, and the UI looks fantastic, and it's just so much work and love and TLC went into this, and it really shows. And it's a more digestible map and entry screen for you to find what you need, so it was definitely needed. And it just fits into the overall art style of the game, and it looks fantastic. So, amazing job. It looks so beautiful. Now, I do want to say there are some more amazing things that I love about what they're doing, but one of the ugly sides to the launch, for me personally, is the marketing strategy. I don't like it. We've spent so much time not having marketing, and now it seems like it's Twitter codes, and it's paying streamers who have never played this game or didn't play it on a consistent basis to jump in, and I just don't think it retains players. I mean, I talked about Cadril coming in, but there was no streamer tournament. There was just a bunch of streamers getting paid to play it, and some of them weren't really that big. I don't see them on consistently. They're really only playing because they're getting paid to do it, and while the game is fun and they're having good content around it, it's not building the love for Supervive. It's more just the streamer push, and I don't fully agree with that. I think that there needed to be a bigger push to the audiences that they're trying to reach, the Battle Royale and the MOBA communities, and I've really only seen Reddit and Twitter ads and the streamers playing it. So those people, while it gets some eyes out there, not everybody is watching streamers, and if you're not watching that specific streamer, or you only tune in for a specific game and now you're seeing Supervive, you're really not going to care that much. So I don't really like it. And also, the players who have built a name on Supervive and the streamers who have grinded this game out and stayed consistent with it, like Mad Magical and Zodag and Tom Kick, I haven't seen too much of a push for them either. Maybe they didn't want it, but they've really only been put in the game as like a creator. That's really my only ugly complaint. The gameplay, it's gonna hit or miss for some people, and it's still a super fun game, and having them address those issues a week after launch makes me feel a lot better. That really needed to happen, and that made me feel like they still care. You get caught in the hubbub of people complaining here and there, and having them put this patch out that addressed some core issues so fast, especially after they worked their butts off to get this thing launched. They didn't take a break. They dove right back in and kept working, so I give them all the props for that, and you really can't complain about everything else. It's just really just nitpicky, honestly, because I have high hopes for the future of Supervive and what it could be, and I think that the armory changes are going to get players into the game more, and the Prisma changes make it feel a little bit more rewarding. I've been seeing the player base hang around a much healthier number of like 5,000, and honestly, that's I said previously, that's really all you need is like 5,000 to 7,000 players playing consistently, and China's servers are up and booming from what I've heard. So I hope that this game can stick around for a while and give them the opportunity to expand on their seasonal changes that they want to bring. It still feels like the game that we all have grown to know and love, and the changes were also much needed. While I don't like all of them, we did need to see a bit of a mix-up, and this is more than enough to get me back into the game, and I really just hope the player base sticks around so that we can continue to see this game thrive. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the official release, if you've tried it or if you haven't, and if you want to see some other changes along the way, drop those in the comments as well, and let's talk about it. But for now, I hope you guys appreciated my look into Supervive, and I am so thankful for you guys tuning in and wanting to hear about my thoughts, and that you guys are in this journey right along with me. So stay tuned for the next video, and we will catch you over the abyss.